Disaster farmers?
Hold on. What does it do you
We
farm disasters?
We sow it.
Harvest time!
Time to die, motherfucker.
Or are you just like a really optimistic farmer and then you just suck at your job?
Well, we lost the entire crop again. This is a disaster.
This is a disaster, guys.
Or you're like a farmer that gets parachuted into disaster areas to attempt to farm.
What if you jump out
into
of
a volcano?
You jump out of a plane and then your parachute, when you hit the ripcord on your parachute, it not only deploys the parachute, but it gives you a rake and a hoe.
It's overalls.
So that way you land gently on both feet and you just start tilling the land with your hoe.
Yeah. I need.
Well, I have a problem with pitchforks, so I'm glad you didn't mention those.
They seem
because
like
you're
you.
Satan?
No, I've been stabbed by the same one twice.
This is awesome.
Well,
so you are saying you are Satan?
We've told this story on this here program, but it was funny.
Yeah,
we were
the first time I was little and tripped and took the tine just through the skin of my knee.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. Let's get to the good one.
Yeah. The other one, Matt literally put the pitchfork through my leg.
At like eye level to a young Jake. This is like here and like Josh's leg. My eyes just was like.
So Josh was knee high to a Jake's eye.
Well, Josh was up.
So getting stabbed doesn't fucking hurt a bit.
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Sucks.
No, hold on. How many times have you been stabbed?
Once.
It's not a very large sample size. To be
Yeah,
it's
you're
okay,
what we call an outlier.
I wish you weren't such an outlier.
No, we just need to start stabbing him more.
5 minutes later, it hurt like a motherfucker.
And in all fairness, it was just through the meaty part of his calf. It
The
missed
meaty
the bone.
part?
The meaty. Meat.
I don't feel like you were properly stabbed.
Well,
I
given that
agree.
it was Matt that stabbed him, Jordan's probably right.
I really didn't even notice that I was stabbed until.
Oh, I noticed. I was probably the first one that noticed.
Jordan, can you go on the dark web and hire someone to come stab Josh?
No. Can you go on?
No, I can't.
Can you go on? I will allow you to do that if you also go on the dark web and hire someone to delete my student loans.
Shit. Do you know somebody who can do that?
No, I don't.
I like that that is the harder.
I will gladly get stabbed.
Because I do not want to hire that person.
I will gladly get stabbed if my student loans disappear.
What's a student loan?
Shut up.
Up top, Annie.
It's just one of the bills I don't pay anyway, so fuck it.
You guys and your education. Oh.
Hey, at least I know the difference between the pretenders and the proclaimers.
Me and Josh told you that in confidence.
Oh, so you say.
We were pretending that they were proclaiming. And Sting is in both of them. What was that?
Right.
The demon's back. The one that hangs up out in the corner.
There was just some shine on the. It was shiny. The key.
So I got the coolest ad on
That was just crazy.
on an iOS game I was playing yesterday.
First of all, 2 questions. Which game?
Mountain
Polio?
Run. Oh.
Polio?
Cornholio?
Yeah, something like that.
Olio.
You're just a little fucking hole that
Scary
travels
area.
around the world, sucking up things, and you get bigger and bigger the more things you suck
Oh,
up.
I saw that ad on Instagram. It looked fun. And you just like devour buildings, right?
Yeah, it's kind of addicting.
Oh.
And, there's only 3 levels, and they're all the same. But from the starting point, they'll like, move the level. So up is a different direction. they'll just rotate the fucking mat. And he's fucking looking at me, and I'm trying to. But anyway, this ad came up on my fucking on the game.
Scientology network?
Yeah.
Bleach.
That can help fill the hole
Like, God
you're
damn
trying
it,
to fill
just
with that
left a
game.
cult.
Exactly. So you're in the market.
I think if I was gonna join a cult, I'd join CrossFit.
No, you take it back.
I'm surprised you don't have a tire in your yard.
I've got at least 8.
For flipping. Or like those big ropes.
I want a flipping tire and a sledgehammer so I could hit the flipping tire
What
with
a
the
flipping
sledgehammer.
tire!
Jordan, you got ropes in your yard?
We do have ropes.
No.
Yeah. You
We
see Jordan
got
out there?
Yeah, I got those ropes at home and a jump rope.
I don't know. I could probably use the
It's
extra.
Jordan on
for
his
those night ropes.
pangolin.
Yeah.
Jordan is what?
His pangolin.
Aren't those little freaking
No.
South American?
He's learning to
armadillos?
play the pangolin.
That's a South American armadillo.
And they're very nervous. Just constantly excuse me. Sorry to bother you, but
They're so fucking cute. I want one as a pet.
they have
Who has
diphtheria.
Josh for Secret Santa?
I got you do. No.
No,
Shayna
don't.
does.
Shayna does. Josh has Annie. I read it backwards. Sorry.
Great. Well, now you've done it.
Here, Annie, cover your ears real quick.
You're still in my ear.
Well, it almost worked.
Oh, I was gonna tell everyone else what I got you.
You already told me. And I forgot what it was. What was it?
A Ren and Stimpy shirt. You know what's funny? That shirt, like when I got it, it was like super tight on me because I was all fat and shit. And now I like swim in it. It's like fucking huge on me.
I don't remember what size I got because I got whatever size Jake told me to get. So he's responsible
Well, it was
for this.
large, but it was like, and now, so yeah, I was getting fat. So
You swim with a shirt on?
it was like tight, and now it's like huge on me.
Oh.
So, anyways.
Okay, guys.
You guys, there's
hi,
someone
Shayna.
else here.
Hi, Shane, and welcome to the Mutineer Disaster Hour, despite what the title of this episode says.
Hi, thanks for adjusting my level before I even spoke.
Yeah, it was not down far enough.
And number 2. Good.
Oh, Shayna pooped. Hey,
You.
Your new diaper.
Everybody poops, Shayna.
I don't poop, Shayna.
Let me rephrase that.
Actually,
poops, comma, Shayna.
I actually just pooped. It was the first time I had a chance today, so you're welcome.
Wait a minute.
I thought you were about to say it was the first time you had a chance.
You wait till you have a chance to poop?
Well, yeah, kind of have to.
My poop cycle rules my life.
I work outside.
I never learned to ride a poop cycle.
I'm just like a cat, just bury it.
I can't really bury my
Sand
poops
traps.
in a classroom.
You work at a golf course with at least 18 holes.
There's the
you can
holes
poop
are,
in.
yeah.
Well, I honestly wouldn't be the first.
That's why you're always digging holes.
That was a rough day. That was a rough day. Oh,
When you
cup.
pooped in all 18 holes?
No, I was out changing cups because golf courses change their holes. Jordan, are you looking at cats?
Stop Instagramming, Jordan.
I found a video on my phone and I couldn't remember what it was. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then it was one of those stupid Instagram videos that I saved.
Was it a cat?
No. It was 2 cats.
In the yard.
Pooping?
In my living room.
Okay,
Not
guys.
pooping.
Real quick, I have to bring up something that came up today.
Something suddenly came
Did
up.
everyone see the Detective Pikachu trailer?
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god! I just watched
I
it.
didn't get to watch it yet. I haven't watched it yet.
I didn't realize how much I wanted to see this movie until I saw the trailer, and I was like, "Holy shit! I
Okay,
really want to see
Jordan,
this movie."
did you see Happy Time Murders?
No, I didn't. I'm waiting for Blu-ray on that one.
Definitely watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
So
I want to see it.
I remember Detective Pikachu was announced back like shortly after Pokemon Go came out because they were kind of
Yes.
riding that wave.
Right, because that was
Yeah.
gonna make all the nerds be thin. And look, no one's obese anymore.
Speak for
All thanks to
yourself.
Pokemon.
So anyway, when they announced it,
For
I was
yourself.
like, this idea sounds horrible. Like I thought it was gonna be like Alvin and the Chipmunks, like these little monsters get lost in our real world, and Pikachu's walking around with his little hat, solving crimes or something. And I was like, this sounds horrible. Trailer drops today. This looks like one of the most amazing movies I've ever seen.
I don't remember ever hearing about it.
I didn't realize, like, it's really weird because the Pokemon look realistic, but they also still look like Pokemon. So
It looks
it's,
awesome.
like,
I'm
it
excited
weirded
for
me out
merch.
for a minute. And also, the original, I think they, back when they announced the film, they were trying to get Danny DeVito to be the
Wow.
voice of Pikachu. And I was like, well,
Ew.
shit, I need to hear a Danny DeVito voice Pikachu. Just
No.
think about it. Like,
No.
a Pikachu who is a detective that sounds like Danny DeVito sounds like something I would laugh at consistently.
That
Right.
sounds like a nightmare.
That sounds hilarious. You don't know
I-
comedy
I-
shit.
I-
Very Loraxy.
Don't tell me what I know, Duncan.
I could just hear Pikachu yelling Rumham.
If you
Would
want
you like
this
an
boy's
egg in
soul.
this trying time?
I really wanted a Pokemon Pop Socket at Target today, but they were like $14.95, and I just couldn't.
Well,
And
I
then
designed.
I kept
I
thinking I could just put it in my pocket.
designed the Mickey Mutineer's pop socket.
You
Never
guys
Have
bought
you-
it though because it was like
Okay.
$20.
So have you guys seen that video? I saw it. I think it popped up on Instagram, and it's that guy, and he's like, "I don't care if I'm a grown man, and I'm crying about Pokemon." Have you seen him?
No.
And
Yeah.
he was like, the song says you gotta catch them all, not just catch some of them. And like, he's like drunk and sobbing and talking about catching Pokemon, and he can't catch Pokemon.
Was it?
And it made
Dimitri?
me. No, it wasn't Dimitri. But it made me laugh. I'll find it. I'll send you guys a link. It was funny.
Sounds depressing.
Huh.
No, it was really funny.
I think I know which one you're talking about. It only showed like the dude's forehead.
Yeah, you could see like his eyebrows, like half his
Yeah.
eyes and his eyebrows up. And he's like, "Yo, but man," and like he was so upset with his life.
Well, I mean that
It
happened.
was funny.
So
But no, like I'm super into this movie. Like
Right.
I'm 100% sold on that trailer.
what?
100%
froze.
sold on that
Everybody
trailer.
froze. I froze.
I
So,
mean, the second I
one's
saw
frozen but
Ryan
you.
Reynolds, I was in. Cause hello, best Ryan.
Is he on? Oh, now he's frozen. Are we all
So
going to be
the
ruined?
original voice actor was supposed to be Danny DeVito, and then they were talking about The Rock being the voice. And I guess they settled
No.
on. Do you smell what the
Funny
Pikachu is
shit.
cooking?
Guys, I just froze for like 20 seconds. I missed everything.
No,
Stop bleeding.
Shanna took her pants off.
I'll catch it in post.
I really want to be honest. I've had
But-
jeans on all day.
What?
Stopping you, I guess.
I got.
Jake,
I got.
Jake,
What?
I have a
What?
question real quick.
What? I want to
How
talk about
come-
Pokemon.
How come you're in color, but your apartment is in black and white? How the fuck are you doing this?
Well,
Hashtag
It's one of those
monochromatic.
Spielberg effects, you know. Complicated stuff.
do you guys ever play that game, Epic? Not Epic Mickey.
I did
There's
play that
list?
game now.
Yeah, it is
No,
Epic
no,
Mickey.
no. I know Epic Mickey's a game.
Okay,
Played
yeah.
Schindler's List for Xbox.
The
it's
green
another-
file for Mickey.
That's a
There's the six-
depressing game.
There's the 16-bit Mickey Mouse game. Frick, what was it called? Mickey Mania.
No, I never played that one.
So
No.
you start off on the Steamboat Willie level, and as you progress through the level, things start getting in color, but not everything. I'm basically Animator's Palette on Disney Cruise Line right now. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Jordan gets it. Yeah. Anyway, back to Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm not as fancy as Jordan.
I got
Never
it.
been on the cruise line.
I was busy thinking about when Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was on at my grandparents' house. My grandpa was like, I don't know any of these new characters, and they were showing Pete.
Literally the oldest character.
I didn't say anything.
Oh.
Anyway, things that I liked about Detective Pikachu is, I said this earlier, but clearly they know that their demographic is 20 to 30-year-old adults, and they are going for it.
What's
Also-
the rating? PG?
I don't think they have one yet, but I mean
in
in the trailer, Mr. Mime
It-
tells
it-
Pikachu to shove it.
well, they're all gonna be hoping that people take their like 8 to 10-year-old, 8 to 12-year-old, 8 to 13-year-old kids.
They're just gonna go full Deadpool. It's gonna be rated R.
They're literally halfway there.
I mean, they could.
Deadpool died and was reincarnated as an adorable Pikachu. And Jigglypuff is fuzzy. Come to find out. That threw me off. I liked it. But yeah, the fact that they even included Mr. Mime in the trailer doing Mr. Mime things, arguably one of the creepiest
Dude,
Pokemon.
That shit where Pikachu jumped towards Mr. Mime and hit his invisible wall.
Well, before that, did you notice Mr. Mime was sitting down on nothing?
Oh, I did not know.
Yeah, sitting there, one leg crossed over the other one. And he's not sitting on anything. He's very good. He's very good with his powers. And Charizard looks terrifying. Like, this movie has...
looks like a fucking turtle plant.
He is a turtle plant. This movie has me so excited. I went from 0 to 100 because I had nothing to do with this
You're the
movie.
hero.
No time
When
flat.
does it come out?
May 2019.
That's a long ways away.
I'm gonna forget about this before
We
then.
did, but
Oh,
We'll remind you, Josh. Don't worry.
Godzilla King of the Monsters comes out in May also.
oh
May,
no!
It's going to be Monster May.
Oh, I shipped your candy corn today, Jake.
You shucked it.
What?
I shipped it. I shucked
Wow,
it.
you're a disaster farmer.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you, by the way.
That goddamn pig again.
I tried to get the girl because she was like, "Have you shipped to this person before?" And I said, he has a new address.
Making a web. Just says
And she
value
pulled up
stuff.
your name and she says, "Well, you've shipped to Jake. It's this address." And I was like, "Oh, I thought he had moved since then." And I said, "I'm gonna need you to change his name to," and then she was like, "Okay, print," because I wanted to change your name to Jacob Robot Hess.
Hold on. Who's this lady that has my address saved?
The shipper lady.
The lady at the shipper place. Because I've shipped shit to you before.
Yeah.
And she
for
was like, "Oh
last
yeah,
year's
we
Christmas.
already have his name." And I was like,
Shit.
"Oh yeah, but," and she was like, "I have the label printed." She was so boring. And I was like, "God damn it, I need to change his name because I wanted your label to say Jacob Robot Hess." And she wasn't having my
And then I would
shenanigans.
get it, and I'd be like, "Well, that's not me." 3 points.
3 points.
Well, I got a package at work that said Josh, the bearded fella.
I saw that. That was amazing.
I
Believe
saw
it
that
said-
too.
I believe it said feller. The
Feller.
bearded
Feller. It
feller.
was, yeah,
Feller.
the feller.
What was in the package? I need to know. What's in
A
the box?
blower motor for an air conditioner.
Oh.
Blower motor.
Jeez, Annie. Josh, you got a little head at work?
Yeah.
Step 1.
Who
Got a
hasn't?
hole on the box.
Is it 2007?
Shut up,
That's not
Jacob.
that old.
I thought it was older than that.
It's got to be 2011.
I can't believe I'm Googling dick in a box.
I'm saying 2000.
Do it.
Don't hit
images,
Google
hit
and just
images.
no. Don't hit images.
Come on, Jake, hit images.
Released 2009.
I was closer.
Wait, what'd you say?
2011.
You're literally right in the middle. Okay, images.
Closer.
It's just pictures of Justin Timberlake. Oh, there's a Funko Pop of it.
There's a Justin Timberlake Funko Pop.
From the Saturday night.
Go ahead, Shayna.
Holy shit!
I have Shayna, but I don't know what I'm gonna get her. It's not that.
If you don't get me Justin
Here's what you
Timberlake,
get her.
so help
Get her-
you.
Wait,
Step
Wait,
one, you
I'm
need
not-
to get a box.
And please do not cut a hole in that box.
Don't tell me what to do.
Never mind. Then don't do what I was
Just
thinking.
don't.
Step
Just
two.
don't.
We have a viewer.
In that box.
Whoa!
Oh.
Jordan
And
just
if
went
the
from,
viewer
hold on.
is-
No, I have a thing to say. This is gonna be worth it. Jordan just went from surly to sultry.
Ew, he's sultry. Let's see it, Jordan.
He already did it.
Who's our viewer?
I don't know.
Who is you?
Who are you?
It's my buddy Lidum. I think it's Lidum.
And
Hi,
hi.
Lidum. Hey, buddy. Yes, and hide. That one.
They sell fireworks. at
Hold on a
Disneyland.
second. Let's see.
Everyone say hi.
I hope they don't use the chat
Hi.
because
Want
no
to
one
talk
ever
to the
really.
frickin' selves?
I don't know how to get to the chat.
I've been in the chat.
Yeah, we've never known how to use the chat.
You just go to the YouTube thing and the chat's there. That's
No.
all you do.
Yeah. How hard were the makers of the Toy Story 4 promo? Tripping
Toy
when
Story
you make-
phobe?
Toy Story 4? I actually still have yet to see this teaser.
I watched the Toy
I
Story
haven't
4
watched
one.
it yet either.
I completely forgot it existed because it was completely overshadowed by Detective Pikachu in my mind. Let's just say I watched one of the teasers once, and I watched the other teaser at least 6 times. So there you go. Although
I haven't
I'm
even watched the Toy Story 4 one yet.
Yeah,
One
I have
word.
I've been busy today.
Forky. You'll see.
Porky.
Forky. It's not even a
Sporky.
toy. Is it Sporky?
Well, he looks like a spork.
Oh. And now we have 2 viewers.
Well, the other one's me because I was looking at the chat, or because I'm currently looking at the chat.
Hi, Jordan.
there's a
Oh,
chat.
hold on, I'm gonna make a comment. Hey, everybody.
We
Spelled
won't know
it
how to
wrong.
read it.
I don't even know where to find this. How dare you?
And moving on.
So, anyway.
All right, I'm gonna close this YouTube screen.
And then Jordan disappears.
Yep.
We're not done.
How dare
All
you,
right.
Jordan? Okay, speaking of not done, let's move into the sadness now. While we're all here, but hold on, we're gonna start.
Together.
No, we're gonna start on a happy note. Well, not a happy note, not a happy note at all. It's a sad note, but it's funny. so let's just get it out there. Sir Stanley passed away today.
Wait a minute, I don't think he was knighted.
I knighted
No.
him.
Jordan did it. HR approved.
Well, I guess
Alright. Sure.
that's just as. It's the same as anyone else knighting someone, I guess.
Yeah, so we did it. He's knighted. Sir Stanley.
Okay.
So anyway, here's what happened. Here's what went down today. My friend texted me, R.I.P. Stanley, and I was like, what? And I started looking at the internet. I was like, I can't find anything. And I went to Twitter, and the Hollywood Reporter had just tweeted it like 3 minutes prior. So I wrote him back. I was like, man, you're fast. So then I checked Facebook to see if Jordan had said anything. And he had not, because usually Jordan's my source for this kind of thing.
So what you're saying is Jordan did not murder anyone today.
Not that I know of, but hold on. It gets better. He may have.
Reliable source.
It was almost me, come to find out. So what I did is I texted Jordan, R.I.P. Stan Lee. And Jordan, why don't you take the story from here?
All right, so I was driving home from work, and I have the CarPlay where I can hook up my phone and just talk to Siri through my car. And so I get a notification on my dash screen from a text from Jake, and he sent me 2 texts in a row. And I'm going to read the first one. Where is it? So 2 texts in a row, and they were read back to back. And I'm going to read them how Siri read them to me.
Go do it in robot voice.
No. Okay. So here it goes. The first text, both texts together. I watched all 3 Robert Langdon movies over the weekend. LOL. Also, rip Stan Lee, Dark Day Indeed. And then I was like, and then I told Siri to replay my last text from Jake, and it said, also rip Stanley, Dark Day Indeed. So in my head, I thought I heard Stanley, and I thought Stanley from The Office died. and then I said Stanley, but then I went Stanley, and I went, oh my God, I hope it's not Stanley. So I immediately yell at my car dash, and I said, Siri, call Jake Hess right now. So Siri tells me, don't yell at me. And then I said, okay.
And don't call Jake because he's at work.
Please call Jake. So I called Jake, which I never really do, because Jake and I just text 500 times during the day. We never, I think that's the second phone call I've ever had with him.
Yeah, that's like all my friends.
So
he says that you guys are on the phone all the time.
So,
what are you talking about?
So whenever Jake answers the phone, Jake is giggling. And then I said, and he's like, yes. And I said, Jake, I'm about to ask you a question, and I need the utmost clarification. And I told him how I had Siri read the texts back to me. And I said, did you mean to say rest in peace Stanley or rest in peace Stan Lee? And he said, wait, and the last one. And then I immediately had to pull over.
And cry your eyes out?
Because it was pouring down rain, and I was about to get on the interstate.
But which one? Which one?
75.
Okay, yeah, pull over.
Hey, I was on 75 too.
Because for a split second, I was really sad that Stanley from The Office died.
Oh, God.
But now I'm even sadder because Jake confirmed my worst fear that Stan Lee had indeed passed away.
Well, I'm glad you value one human life so much more than another.
No, that's only because Stan Lee, in my mind, was untouchable. But clearly...
But clearly neither are.
So that's how this...
And then things happen in threes. So we have Stan Lee. There's 2 more coming.
Brent Spiner.
And
Wolverine and Deadpool.
Annie, goddamn.
So.
And my heart can't handle it.
So, anyway, that's how this eulogy is going to start.
That's how we would have wanted it.
I think you would appreciate this, actually.
He would have made a cameo right now.
Okay, well, in all fairness, here we go. Here was my let me just start with my introduction to Stan Lee, like where I know him from originally.
Can I do mine next? I like this.
It might be the same one.
Mallrats?
I don't think so.
Damn it, it is Mallrats.
No, mine's not. Mine's
Screw
not.
all of you.
You knew him from
In the
pause.
Fucking in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a Marvel cartoon where Stan Lee would talk at the end.
I've never seen a Mallrats.
So yeah, I knew Spider-Man, I knew X-Men, I knew all of these, but I didn't know who Stan Lee was until I was watching Mallrats with Josh, which was banned from the house later on. Mom did not appreciate that.
I was going to
movie
say,
and
I was
stuff.
not allowed to see that. Or
Yeah,
buy
neither
it
were
or
we,
go.
but
I
that's not gonna
remember
stop
both of
us.
those movies I wanted to see. It was not allowed.
So I was like, who is this guy?
Well, I was
Oh,
not about to get scolded.
It is Stan Lee. So that Mallrats is my introduction to Stan Lee the man. Even though I was already a fan of his work, I just didn't know who this guy was.
My introduction to Stan Lee was the motion theater movie he did at Kings Island. Was the Data Raiders. It was supposed to be like an internet thing for kids. And
Is that your Stan Lee voice?
He was in the pre-show video. He'd come out and say, "I'm Stan Lee," and that's all we did all summer was go to Kings Island like every effing day. So we would have all these memorized. So we thought it was so funny to be like, "I'm Stan Lee," and then he would show up and stuff all the time. And so we'd be like, "Hey, yeah, Data Raiders, Data Rapers, Gator Raiders, something."
Yeah, there was a Marvel cartoon in, like I said, the late '80s, early '90s, and he always did the thing at the end was "Welcome, true believers."
I don't remember that at all. But also looking back, apparently, we say what we say about the Stan Lee cameos. Stan Lee has been making cameos since the Lou Ferrigno Hulk days. Like in that one, the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, where Thor shows up and everything. Stan Lee is in the courtroom. I also don't recommend watching any of these. Let's just pretend that these do not exist.
Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
I think that's what it was called, Jordan.
I mean, I know of it. I've never.
Let me
seen
look
it.
at it. Yeah, I mean, don't. Thor looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures, but I've never seen the cameo.
Yeah,
my introduction to Thor was Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, mine too. Actually.
That was a good movie.
It fucking had Thor in it. It was a great movie.
That was a good
Weird.
movie.
It also had the Kingpin in it too.
Did it really? Oh,
And it had Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, he plays the Kingpin in the.
Elizabeth Shue does?
Elizabeth Shue, the
Yeah.
original Marty McFly's girlfriend.
no,
Or the second one.
The second one,
The lesser one.
the lesser one, yes, but the one that went on to do other things.
Right, okay. I mean, that's fair. Some of us are Stanley, some of us are Stanley.
Stanley was my hamster that died today.
Oh.
Poor
Weird.
Stanley.
Weird coincidence.
Your wild hamster.
Yes.
Found roaming Southeast Asia.
What was? Is Josh here?
No, I'm not.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Jordan Shana, what was your introduction to Stanley?
Like the person or just his work?
The person.
The person.
I think it might actually have to be Mallrats. Like I know we were joking about it earlier, but I think that's the first time I really put two and two to a face with the name.
And it also just showed what a cool guy he was. He's
Yeah.
Stan Lee is a cool guy. He's dodging questions about the things orange.
Because I read comic books growing up, but it was mainly a lot of Transformers comic books, stuff that he didn't create. But at the time, Marvel Comics had the license for Transformers comics, so it was still Marvel Comics. And I read some Batman stuff, but I guess the first thing I really gravitated towards that was his work was X-Men. I was never a big Spider-Man guy. Because I know a lot of my friends really gravitated towards Spider-Man, but I was always an X-Men person. So
when it came to the animated series, I preferred both. The 90s Spider-Man, not those other ones.
I tried to get into Spider-Man just because all my friends were, something that I could talk to my friends with. But I don't know. There's something about Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man, but I don't love Spider-Man. I was always X-Men.
Shayna, what was your intro to Stan Lee?
My intro was my ultimate nerd dad. He's been a comic book, action figure, whatever
I didn't know your
collector.
dad was a nerd.
Yeah, my dad's a total nerd. He does Dragon Con, blah 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 blah.
I thought you were gonna say drugs.
Yeah, he does drugs. He does a lot of drugs.
No, he does drag.
But yeah, he was always into it. And when I was younger, I didn't totally appreciate it. Like we didn't connect on that level. But I always knew.
Did you rebel by
Yeah.
doing
He
sports and
always
stuff?
knew he was a nerd.
Have you met me? I don't do sports. No.
Actually, I haven't.
But actually have not. But yeah, no, it was always like his thing, and we had our different things, but I knew his nerdness and he knew my nerdness, and we kind of met in the middle. And then when I got into middle school, high school, and got into Jay and Silent Bob and Kevin Smith, and I always appreciated what he did. But until I got older, I didn't get it. And now the older I get and I see how it's progressed, I can see what he showed me when I was a kid that I didn't really appreciate. But now I understand it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. He shared that with me, even though as a kid, I was like, this is fucking stupid. But now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I get it, and I understand it, and I appreciate it. So it's like, full circle situation. So now we both share. He shares what he knows with my kid, and I share what I know with my kid, and yeah, we're all like just nerding out.
And it's like the cool thing now. Like
Yeah, it really is the coolest thing now.
Like something like right going off what you were just saying. I was reading up a bunch of stuff today, and then something that I didn't realize today. It's always been there, but like what Stan Lee did for comics, like taking the superheroes and making them flawed people.
Yes.
Like, because DC, you get Superman, you get Wonder Woman, these are all like damn perfect people, and you can't relate to that. But you get
Yeah, Stan Lee made superheroes Greek gods.
Wait, what?
Well, and that's what I'll say. Like, I appreciate the fact that I understood the backstories and the characterizations, whatever, as a child. Even though I didn't get into it, I appreciated it. But I did see, I had a friend posting today saying that they appreciated Stan Lee because they had anxiety and they had all of these depression, whatever situations going on. And reading these stories and seeing these stories helped them through dark times. So it's just really neat to see. And they had a quote with Stan Lee saying that he felt bad because he wasn't building bridges or, solving problems, curing diseases, but he realized that creating entertainment and creating a world for other people to be entertained by or inspired by was just as important. And I thought that was really cool. Because my initial interaction with him, I was like, Stan Lee, I know him, I get it. But now that I'm older, I see like it was a big deal and it meant a lot to a lot of people, even if it didn't do it for me.
Is Stan Lee your dad?
He might be. My maiden name is Lee, just so you know.
Wait. Shayna Lee do?
Yeah.
What were you gonna
Anyways,
say,
I got
Josh?
serious for a second.
What?
You were going to say something, Josh. And if you're not, I'm
Yeah.
going to say something.
No, go ahead.
Do it.
No, okay. Okay, so I read a thing on Reddit. Yeah.
What's Reddit?
I read it on Reddit.
Don't?
I never get to anymore.
Some dude just wrote this post, and I can only paraphrase it really fast because it's pretty long. But just saying how he was like lumped into some weird special ed class because he was behind in reading and all this, and comic books brought him to the, brought him up to grade level because
Yeah.
he could relate with the Marvel comic book characters. And at first it was X-Men. X-Men was awesome. This was in the 90s when X-Men was fucking huge, the TV show or the animated series and all that shit. But the thing that he said was, then he started getting into Spider-Man, this guy that struggles with his superpowers and has clinical depression.
Yeah.
It's just fucking, it just kind of made me laugh. It's like, oh yeah, I guess that's kind of true.
Well, and along those lines, I'd like to drop a plug for Jordan's Facebook page.
Along what lines? Depression?
Well, no, just like the people intimidating.
Oh, damn.
Relating to X-Men and stuff. And like realizing the deeper meaning. Jordan, jump in anytime you want now.
No, I don't wanna go read my Facebook post.
First of all, Jordan's wearing a Batman shirt. How dare you, sir?
I don't have an X-Men shirt.
Oh,
I need to get an X-Men shirt.
Just write an X over Bat.
X-Man.
people get the wrong idea. It's 2018.
Well, because it's just you. You're one X-Man.
Wait a minute. I'm still a man. Some question if I ever was really a man to begin with.
One X-Man.
Your own cat.
It's just like an Arrested Development joke.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'd like to be an X-Man.
Yeah. Thanks for ruining my style.
Always money in the banana stand.
They said it was a Bob.
Oh, am I still going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're like a middle school principal.
I felt like we built it up, and then everybody made jokes, and then it wasn't poignant anymore.
But no, I feel like it is still poignant. And I feel like the thing
I was the youngest of 3 kids, and I wasn't planned, and my brother, who's the middle child, is 10 years older than me.
Wait, are you Jake?
Yes.
You're an oopsie too.
No, Tim wasn't planned. I was the makeup.
So I never really, like, my sister's 13 years older than me. My brother's 10 years older than me. So I never had a sibling that I could hang out with, because by the time I was, 5, my brother was 15 and he wanted to hang out with his friends and was too cool for his little brother, whatever. And I had friends growing up around the neighborhood and at school, but all the kids at school wanted to play sports, and I just wasn't into sports or any of that. I was into comic books and video games and cartoons and pretty much the stuff I'm into now as a 35-year-old, basically. And
That'll happen.
Right. That will happen.
But growing up, I was bullied and consistently othered because I didn't like sports and because I wasn't quote unquote normal. Because I never enjoyed watching a football game. I never enjoyed watching a basketball game or collecting basketball. Like, that was what everybody did in my town when I was growing up. But I did find a select few people who liked comic books, and I really gravitated towards them. And in my Facebook post, I guess I kind of found my X-Men because I was othered the way the X-Men were othered in the comic books. Now, growing up, and putting the X-Men within its historical context of the civil rights movement of the 1960s, I see the bigger picture of what X-Men was trying to do. But growing up, I always felt kind of like the outcast just because I was ostracized for the things that I liked and for the things that I didn't like. And I also that was always why the X-Men was a big part of my life, because I felt like I was being othered the way the X-Men were being othered. But again, now I realize that the X-Men, not socioeconomic, but just on the social spectrum, why they were othered, because they were different. And in the early 1960s, the civil rights movement was going on, so there was a lot of othering racially as well. So I get the bigger picture now, but I think that just makes the story of the X-Men more important.
Yeah, there's that bigger picture, but like we all related in some way or another to that smaller picture, like of being othered.
Right.
Like,
and I know. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it was like groundbreaking.
And I know, like, Spider-Man specifically is a big hit with a lot of kids because Peter Parker himself is a kid.
Yeah.
You know, we've grown up with Spider-Man, so we've seen Spider-Man get married and, you know, have whatever kind of life he had, but
and multiple Spider-Men.
Right. But whenever Spider-Man started, like, Homeboy was a high school student, so he was legitimately a kid. And that's what, you know, like, when you look at the film, like, with what they did with Spider-Man Homecoming, is like they made him a child again.
Yeah.
So a lot of young people can now relate to him easier.
And like what you said about Spider-Man Homecoming, like, it's still going. Like, the crazy thing about Stan Lee dying is, like, this isn't some, like, we're not talking about, like, glorifying his past works. Like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the highest grossing movie franchise ever.
Yeah.
It is still plowing along.
So this is the thing. Stan Lee hasn't been really at the helm for years now.
No, he's been out for a long time.
But the guys at the helm are the guys that grew up on this shit and understand the work and understand.
And they know what he wants.
All the shit behind the work and why, and they're doing the same thing that he would do, basically, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man, they're doing a really good job at it, too. And, like, how crazy would it be? Like, I was thinking about this today. Like, so the last Marvel movie, no, 2 Marvel movies ago, Avengers Infinity War, like, all these characters that Stan Lee either created or co-created with, you know, Jack Kirby or whatever, like, all together on the big screen and just, like, smashing box office records. Like, he got to see his life work up there. That'd be insane.
They should put data raiders in there.
No, they shouldn't.
If Secret Squirrel or whatever the fuck gets in it.
And not only the Avengers up on the big screen, but we got the Defenders on the little screen. Like, his works are, like, getting bigger than ever still. It's insane.
Because they're incredible.
Yes. One of them is literally incredible.
Literally.
We call him the Hulk.
Incredible.
I don't know. It's just weird that, I mean, he was 95 and, like, at the height of his power.
Well, I mean, there's
not the height of his power. His power has been going on.
Well, there was also a lot of
decades
of controversy. Like, the man's wife passed away like 2 years ago, I think.
It was earlier this year, wasn't it, or was it last?
Was it last year?
I'm looking
Maybe
it up.
It was last year. Anyway, but then after the news that she passed away,
the Seventh Portal. That's what it was called. Sorry.
Yeah, she died last year in 2007.
Okay. So, but there was also allegations or alleged elder abuse from his children towards him.
Right.
And
that news just came out like last month, 2 months ago?
No, it was during the summer. I think it was during the summer. But I don't think he confirmed or denied it.
What's that? Whatever.
Well, he probably couldn't at that state.
Okay,
he probably couldn't at this state in this age. And that's the unfortunate thing with, you know, children taking care of their elderly parents. You get frustrated and you think you don't have time for it. and then you do bad stuff. Whatever.
So-
That's a
so
whole different conversation.
What? So is it the elder abuse related to his daughter?
Yeah, it was his children. Or
Okay, so
grandchildren, or whatever it was.
What I read was, so basically, Stanley was a super trusting dude, and a bunch of people fucked him. They like took advantage of him, and he lost pretty much everything in the last few years, which really fucking sucks.
Yeah, this is really terrible.
Him and his daughter, their relationship, they're not afraid to fucking yell at each other. And so the people that were fucking him were also screaming elder abuse at the daughter because she sees what's going on and was trying to, get dad to stop giving these freaking assholes money.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. Like, where is the power of attorney? Where you get into the legal aspect. If you haven't taken care of an elderly family member, you don't know the things you have to look for, and maybe they didn't know, and they got screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not an easy thing to deal with, and you could, it could easily get wrapped up into some kind of drama if you don't know your rights and what you have agreed upon doing.
And I just hope that the people that took advantage of Stan Lee in the last few years get, I don't know.
Nothing. Get nothing.
Punched in the jaw.
Well, that too. Kick them in the shins. Fuck them all.
Jake.
I think we need to bring this episode around and end on a high note.
Yeah. I'm going to get pissed here soon.
Yeah, so real quick. Well, not real quick.
Like
we can take
angry
our time
or
off.
drunk?
Both.
Angry. I'm on call.
Drunk. I'm not.
Real quick, like
Piston,
the world
piston.
knows who Stan Lee is and how he was in most Marvel movies. Let's just one by one. Let's go through our favorite Stan Lee cameos. Anything counts.
Oh, Jesus.
Big Hero 6.
Yes.
I was
gonna say that.
That was a good one. And
Jurassic World with the margarita.
that was Jimmy Buffett.
the Hugh Hefner one. That was pretty funny.
That was Iron
That
Man.
was
The turtle doves in Home Alone.
No, that
What?
was
Mallrats.
that was Roy Raleigh.
Mallrats. Yeah.
Mallrats was more than just a cameo.
Yeah, that was
But
that was a
still,
supporting
that's
role.
my favorite ever. Mallrats. My favorite.
That post-credit scene of Big Hero 6, which
That was so good.
that was good because right before the show, I figured that would come up. I looked it up. He didn't create any of those characters. They're just Marvel characters, but they included him, and that was awesome.
The
Yeah,
comic
so
is
cool.
apparently really different from the movie, too.
First of all, Baymax is some crazy war beast.
Yeah.
Dude,
Inflatable.
speaking. Okay, so I sent Jake a picture of Stan Lee's interpretation of the Justice League.
Oh, I've seen a couple
So
of those.
Shazam kind of looks like
Oh, he does
the
look like
original
Baymax. I didn't even realize that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at
Dude,
it.
the Postman Stanley was pretty good too.
When you deliver the package to Mr. Stink.
Yeah.
Although it was wildly distracting, there's two that stand out in my mind. They're both very distracting. The one from Thor Ragnarok, where he cuts Thor's hair. That was a good one. But again, wildly distracting. But I think the most important one, literally the most important one, was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Where
He's talking to the Watchers.
yes, and like explaining his cameo, like his cameo's made a cameo, and leave it up to Guardians of the Galaxy to get super meta about it.
I've seen it.
And in that scene, he mentions the time he was a postman. What if Stan Lee defeats Thanos in Avengers 4?
Take him out.
Well, so another
CGI it, fuck him up.
another comment I read on Reddit today was Stan Lee didn't really die. He just went to a different Marvel universe.
I feel like Stanley would be fine with being CGI'd into cameos in future films.
Along
He
those
would.
lines,
He would want to be on forever.
I feel like he would be amused by that.
I read that he actually has like they filmed like the next 5 cameos for him because like there's
After his wife died,
He has his cameo up to Avengers 4.
awesome.
I'm sure they worked in a
what a
Spider-Man
world.
one too. Because Spider-Man.
Think how much
Far From
technology he's seen in his lifetime.
He started in the 30s.
Yeah, no,
Like-
yeah, seriously, and he's right. 95 years
Like, look at
of
CGI and
drawing,
shit.
sketching,
now.
animation,
Yeah.
movie making. This
Dude had a
man has
good
seen
run.
everything.
Yeah, well,
He
even
had a
like
really good
It
run.
really is incredible.
the advancement in technology of his own stuff. Look at Lou Ferrigno Hulk compared to what we have now. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, exactly. He's seen it every step of the way. I mean, can you imagine having that kind of life and that's your passion and that's your desire? And
is
you get to
unknown
see it
some
go
of
from
that cameo for Spider-Man
square
Far From
one to
Yeah.
what we have now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, wasn't he like really fond of the Fantastic Four?
Well, yeah, that was his first
Yes.
team creation. Like, first,
So-
like,
It was his
Fantastic
first
Four.
team book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think
know
he
what I'm
watched
saying.
the movie and cringed a little bit?
Probably.
Well, what's time? I mean, I'm still waiting for a good Fantastic Four movie. Oh, wait, we had one. It's called The Incredibles. They
True.
have roughly the same powers.
Well, shit.
Huh.
Right?
Huh. Oh. So Jack's like
Human Torch.
everybody in one though.
But aside from Fantastic Four, I mean, he still did the Avengers and everything, so he
Well,
got to see that part. X-Men, there's been good X-Men movies. There was a bad X-Men movie, but we don't talk about that. And
We don't talk about
Spider-Man.
two of
There
them.
was a couple of bad X-Men movies.
Yeah.
I
there's-
completely forgot about one of them. Yeah, you're right.
They're both the third movie too, which is really weird.
Wait, hold on. What was the other third movie? I mean, X-Men 3, yeah, but what was...
Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. And I was thinking Origins
Oh, I
Wolverine.
haven't even seen that.
Oh, I count that as
That's
a
the one with
Wolverine movie.
Poe in it, right?
Yeah, that was bad. Like,
The first Wolverine I enjoyed, but it got bad reviews.
it was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
Well, the fucking Deadpool in that one sucked. That was funny that Deadpool went back and cleaned up the timeline, though.
And I liked in the first Deadpool movie, he had an action figure of that Deadpool.
Yeah, I did think that was pretty funny.
That
Okay,
was
so I
fun.
really like that the Marvel DC rivalry, when DC would create a character making fun of a Marvel character, and Marvel would create a character making fun of DC character, and that's how we got Deadpool and Lobo.
So,
Right.
so we got Thanos, too.
Oh yeah,
Thanos is just Darkseid.
Wait,
Yeah.
did Darkseid come first?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Looking
pretty
it
sure
up.
Darkseid came way.
I thought
first.
Thanos came first.
I'm looking it up. I got it. Okay, Darkseid
Alright.
was in 1970. And Thanos was in 1973. So yeah, Darkseid was
Okay.
first.
All right.
But yeah,
And
I
then
mean,
Marvel ripped themselves off and made Apocalypse. The love child was Darkseid and Thanos.
oh, that would be a great fucking explanation for him.
I love that, but like with Deadpool, I love that they didn't even try to hide the fact that they were making fun of is it Frick, what's it?
Deadshot,
Yeah, I can never remember if it's
Dead
Deadshot or Quick Shot.
Dead Eye.
Anyway, I think we have to land this turd,
Why?
guys.
We have to
Guys,
what?
I'm
I
tired.
think we have to land this turd.
All right. So wait, Annie didn't
Josh, you
say
fixed
her
the
favorite
landing gear,
cameo.
right?
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I have a favorite I hate when you put me on the spot with shit.
I know, I did that on
can't pull
purpose.
stuff out of my ass. I mean, I can, but not real things.
Well,
Wait,
Sure.
what?
Just, I meant exactly what I said.
I know I don't do it ever. This is actually the first time I end a Disaster Hour show. But hey, you've been listening to the Mutineers Disaster Hour. I'm Jake. That's Josh. That's Annie. That's Jordan. That's Shayna. As always,
Excelsior!
and that's why we had to end it.